people like myself that have served this country and put it all out there. You know, I never expected to come back from Laos. I thought I would die there. I was okay with it. Putting it away in a compartment is okay when you're awake, but when you go to sleep, your head does what your head wants to do, and it wants to get it out there. My name is Bill Baker. I'm a Vietnam veteran. Served in Laos during the war. In 2002, I was diagnosed with PTSD. I joined the military in 1970. I was 19 years old, had graduated from high school, was attending college, wasn't much into college, decided that I wanted to serve the country somehow in the military. In 1972, I was given orders to go to Vietnam. Then when I got to the Philippines, myself and a couple other guys were told to get off the plane, that our orders had been changed, and we were to await our new orders, since everything about working in Laos was not to be mentioned at the time because it was part of the secret war. We weren't even told where we were going. That's why we were diverted in the Philippines. So it was full of intrigue. We didn't work in uniforms, but anytime you went someplace, obviously an American in civilian clothes was definitely either military or CIA. So it was kind of a joke in that nobody was supposed to know who we were. Coming back into, what we refer to as the world, coming back to America, there was no action. There wasn't that adrenaline rush. There wasn't, after a while you get to crave that without even knowing it. April of '74, I went into the police academy. So there was an outlet for my desire to have an adrenaline rush. And as soon as I had some time on the job, I went into an anti-crime unit where we worked undercover, worked in plainclothes, dealing with violent street crime. So that fit right into my mindset. And I never felt comfortable around citizens. They didn't have my experience. I didn't have their mindset. And it was like everything was compartmentalized. In private life, there were incidents that I regret now. After I retired, an opportunity came along to buy a beer distributor with a couple of friends of mine, cops. And I didn't have enough money for the buy-in, so I was working as a bartender a couple of nights a week to get some extra money. I was like 10 grand short of what I needed, so for about 6 months I was working as a bartender. I almost killed a guy one night. He used to come into this bar almost every night, and he was kind of obnoxious, and he didn't like anything about the Vietnam War, the whole baby killer mentality. And so one night he had a pretty good load on, and somebody told him that I was a Vietnam veteran and he ought to shut his mouth. And he threw a shot glass at me. I was able to duck. It didn't hit me in the head, but I just snapped, and I went after him, chased him outside. This is like 2 o'clock in the morning. I get him outside the bar, and I have him by the neck. And thank God a patrol car drove past, and this was in the precinct that I had worked in. And this cop, Richie, jumps out of the car and he starts screaming at me. He's like, "Baker, leave him alone, you're killing him. His feet aren't even on the ground." I think if Richie hadn't drove by in that patrol car, that kid would have been dead. From that point on, I said, I can't do this. I can't be like this anymore. That was the first time that I thought to myself, there's a problem and you need to address it. Once I was diagnosed and I started talking to somebody that knew a lot about it and explained to me that some of the things that were happening with me were PTSD, and I didn't really associate it with that. In 2002, I was going through a divorce. I had 5 children. I didn't know where to take them, but I knew that they needed some kind of help because their mother had just walked out. She has addiction issues, and she just walked out, said she was done being a mom. So I knew the boys needed some kind of counseling, and I brought them to Catholic Charities. The counselor there was a Vietnam veteran. He was a Marine. And in just getting the pedigree information for the boys and whatnot, he did an interview with me and found out that I had been in the military. The counselor's name was Mike. He had a more in-depth interview with me, asking me about my time in the military. He said that I had all the classic signs of having PTSD. I didn't know much about it at the time. Didn't even know if I really believed it existed. Kind of like my father's generation from World War II. Just shut up, deal with it, and get on with your life. Mike convinced me to go to the VA in Albany, New York. I did. I signed up for some counseling, and I've been in counseling ever since. It's 20 years now. After I was seeing Mike in 2002, when he recommended that I get in touch with the VA, and I did, I've been getting treatment at the VA for over 20 years now. And then the therapist changed, and it was a female therapist who is young enough to be my granddaughter. And I was like, oh man, this isn't gonna work. What the hell does she know about Vietnam or war? She hadn't been in the military. But it turns out that I guess I'm seeing her almost maybe 9 years. She's great. And she brings other things to the mix that the previous guy who was a veteran didn't bring. You know, she's got young children. Between my wife Pam and I, we have 11 children. So we're very much kid and grandkid oriented. So having a therapist that has young kids, it helps. It needs to be more pervasive that guys will seek help. I mean, even though we're in our 70s, there's still help available, and for whatever time we have left, why not try and make your life a little better? Don't think you can fix it yourself. Just sticking everything in a compartment and saying, yeah, I'm just gonna tuck this away. Yeah, you can tuck it away, but it's gonna come back, you know? Nightmares. I mean, I've had my fair share of horrible nightmares from it. Putting it away in a compartment is okay when you're awake, but when you go to sleep, your head does what your head wants to do, and it wants to get it out there. I waited almost 40 years, well, 30 years, to get help. And I feel an obligation to kind of pay it forward. I got some good benefit out of it, so I want to do whatever I can to reach out to veterans from my era, from Vietnam, to these guys that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. I think there's a big reluctance among them, just like there was us, to seek help. When you've spent most of your adult life in isolation, not showing any feelings to things, it's very difficult. I mean, this is very tough to talk to you, but it's something that needs to be done. These younger guys, they're in their 30s or 40s now. They got a good maybe 40, 50, 60 years to live. Try and get the help.